This is your morning brief for Wednesday, March 13th. Countries around the world are grounding the Boeing 737 Max 8 and Max 9, except in Canada and US. Where's the leadership in Canada and US? This is such an obvious problem. 2 plane crashes within 5 months in an industry that has very few fatalities. The track record in this industry is very good. I mean, they say it's safer to fly than to drive, and that's all true. Those stats just bear it out. And why are we not taking a stand on this? This makes no sense to me. I find it really upsetting that we haven't taken any leadership on this, and I'm upset that Boeing hasn't taking more leadership. There was a spokesperson, I think it was for Boeing. It might not have been, but it sounded so much like a blind Trump supporter, even though it wasn't talking about Trump. It was just talking about the airline. It said, "Oh, there's no data to support that there was something wrong with the plane." There's no data other than the 2 plane crashes that were completely outliers of normal data where nothing crashes. You mean other than the fatalities, that piece of data? It's as plain as the nose on my face that there's something wrong with that plane. It might be the software, it might be the sensors, it might be pilot training. Whatever it is, let's go do the investigation. Then get those things back, fix them and then get them back in the air. Why do we got to risk people's lives? Makes no sense to me. Very disappointed in Boeing. I would not touch that stock. I didn't touch it before these crashes. I didn't even, I just looking at the financials. It's a good company, good return on capital, good financials that way, but it was always too expensive, and now we got to have this. It's complete nonsense. Okay, more Mo in Momo as shares rise after earnings release. All right, so Momo is a small, although getting bigger, social networking platform in China. Shares were up 12% yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. As revenue came in well above last year, so it was $559 million versus $386 million the same quarter the previous year, and that also beat estimates that were $532 million. So this looks great in our profile. It looks like a no-brainer. I always get made fun of for saying no-brainers, but it does look like a no-brainer, although it is not a no-brainer, because trading Chinese stocks is very tricky. They're volatile. You can't always trust the accounting. People just don't trust the company itself. There's a lot of things that would make you, hesitate. However, I'm going to stick with that. It's a good company. We put our report on January 16th and said, it's a good time to enter. It's been up 31% since then. It's nowhere near fully valued. But you have all of these issues around, China, crazy trading. Like I just said, even the accounting. The accounting is clean so far. Nobody said a word. But in general, people don't like Chinese accounting. So I like the stock. Did a report on it. Go watch it on our website. Okay, next one is N5 Global, oversold in our opinion. So last week the shares were down 32% on earnings. They've bounced back about 10% since, but still obviously nowhere near where it was. And it was 2 things. There was this. Okay. There was an accounting issue we just talked about. Those are horrible things. But when they analyzed the accounting issue, they felt they needed to disclose it. But then they also did the analysis and said, it would affect it to 2 decimals to the right. So I should have had the earnings handy. But instead of, let's say, $1.20, it'd be $1.21 or something, or $1.19 or something. So 2 decimals. That seems crazy to me that we would get too worried about that. And in fact, the error they said would be in their favor to actually make earnings go up a little bit. They did lower guidance a little bit. Guidance is now 15 to 24% of sales. or for sales growth, excuse me, and 8 to 24% earnings growth. Okay, that's not bad. Yes, it was growing at 25% and 36% earnings. So 25% sales and 36% earnings. So okay, now going forward, it's a little lower, which is fine. As you get bigger, your growth rates typically, you can't sustain these huge growth rates. That makes sense to me. I have no problem with it. I ran it through our evaluation. It looks fantastic. Go have a look. I did another report on that. So I actually did two, the Momo and the N5 Global out today. Yeah, I have a look at those. Okay. Futures turned positive, which is nice. When I first started, filming this and looking at the futures were down, and now they've kind of crept back up. So that's great. They're positive. Let me just take a quick double check on that and see if they're still. I think they look like. Looks like we're still positive here. Yeah, we've turned positive for the day. That's great. Okay, so we should have a halfway decent open. Let's find some gems.